Is it finally going to happen? Is PlayStation finally going to announce this long rumored Spartacus subscription service? All signs point to yes. At this point, I'm going to believe it when I see it, but PlayStation Spartacus's reveal could be right around the corner. Spartacus is. They're definitely not keeping that name. Let's get into it. Thank you so much for joining me, everybody. Let's get right into it. But first, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to know when these videos go live. Thank you so much for watching. I make these because you watch. So thank you so much for watching, or I'm sorry. Okay, let's hop right into the big news is that PlayStation Spartacus could be revealed as early as next week. And if you're unfamiliar with what's going on here, basically, this is a replacement for not PlayStation Plus, but PlayStation Now. So what's going to happen is PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now are going to merge into one service, and they are going to create something similar to Xbox Game Pass. Now, we've heard a lot about the different tiers. There's Tier 1, the Essential, Tier 2, Extra, and Tier 3, Premium, which all offer slightly different things that are good for different reasons. So jumping into what is good about each, basically the long and the short of it is there's the Essential tier, which is $10 per month. And it's basically the current form of PlayStation Plus with the monthly games like you know it today. That's what the rumor said. I believe that was from Jeff Grubb. And also Jason Schreier confirmed this via some inside reporting. And let me find it here. Yeah, so PlayStation titles aren't planning on being available day one, but the big update today is that they're probably going to announce it as early as next week, according to Bloomberg, who, quote, people familiar with the plans. Daniel Ahmad also, as you can see here, jokingly talked about it. He said, I've also been able to confirm that Spartacus won't have the following, and he's making a joke. But Nabelian was saying, a big key difference between Game Pass and Spartacus, the biggest PlayStation titles won't be available day one on the new service. So he's quoting, I believe, this article. Sony will likely be at a disadvantage here. The new service is not expected to feature its biggest titles on the day they come out. The upcoming God of War Ragnarok, for example, is unlikely to be offered on the streaming platform right away, said one of the people familiar with the plan. Also, the stars of Starship Troopers 23 years. Just kidding. PlayStation consoles have outsold Xboxes in recent years, but Sony lags behind Microsoft's efforts in the streaming market. Xbox Game Pass offers hundreds of games for $10 a month. One of Game Pass's biggest selling points is that subscribers get access to many titles on the same day. They go on sale in stores for $60 or $70 each. That includes this year's much-anticipated Microsoft sci-fi game Starfield. So we'll talk about these tiers here in a second, but I do want to give a throwback to Xbox Game Pass. So there's the Ultimate level, which is $14.99 a month. $14.99 a month. There's PC Game Pass, which is $9.99 a month, and Console Game Pass, which is $9.99 a month, the cheapest version. If you get Ultimate, you get access to everything else. So you get Xbox Live, you get the game library, you get PC Game Pass. That's the tier that I'm at. It's a really good value for everything that you get with it, especially as it folds in all those other options. So Daniel Ahmad's reply to that, his joke tweet was, okay, actual serious tweet. He had a little bit of info. Sony's services revamp isn't looking to compete one-to-one with Xbox Game Pass, and it's leaning into adding additional value through a tiered approach. More about combining its two existing tier services into one plus adding extra perks. PlayStation Now growth was low. So PlayStation Now had significant growth. It was growing for them. I believe they were making around $2 billion, but it was like almost $2 billion a year on PlayStation Now. Now, obviously, they want to be doing more revenue than that. And that's revenue, not pure profit. So, yeah. Let me find the tiers here. Okay, so talking about these tiers again. I brought up Tier 1 Essential. That is the one we've been focusing on largely. It's $9.99 a month. This is a mock I made, by the way. It's there. This is actually right from the PlayStation website, so I kind of redid it instead of PlayStation Now. As you can see, the terms on the bottom still say PlayStation Now. I adapted it to be what we can largely expect from Spartacus, right? So $10 a month merges the two. $13 a month, the second tier. You get access to a downloadable games catalog. Grub is quoted as saying, anything on PlayStation Now that was downloadable will seemingly work here, presumably meaning a whole host of PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 4 games will be accessible. That is Comic Books Now, quoting Jeff Grubb, who talked about it on his show. Finally, Premium is the most expensive, coming in at $16 a month. And comes with the biggest feature set. Grubb said it was kind of like EA Play, where players get full game trials. And let me talk about that for a second. So what EA Play does is basically you get 10-hour-long trials of a lot of your games. That's what, half of Last of Us 2? That is a large portion of a lot of Sony games. You know, a lot of Sony does really fantastic first-person, narrative-driven titles, like a game like Returnal. That's, I think my run-through was like 30 hours. It was a significant amount of time, but a 10-hour demo would have told me right away, okay, yes, I want to do that. I don't hate this as much as everybody else does, but also I kind of understand why everybody hates it. When you have a comparable service like Xbox Game Pass doing this also, you can make comparisons and correlations, right? So people are like, so Xbox Game Pass, you get the full game day one. Here, we only get a 10-hour demo, and a lot of people don't like that. For me, I don't have a ton of time, so a 10-hour demo might be all the time that I get with a game. And then if I choose to purchase it from there, I think that's cool. I'm going to be able to play games here and there, try them out, see what I end up liking, and then make an informed purchasing decision. So I don't hate it as much, but separately, so let's read it again. The second tier is a $13 a month. Second tier is $13 a month and gets access to the downloadable games catalog, Grubb said. And okay, that's the second tier. Premium is the most expensive, coming in at $16 a month and comes with the biggest feature set, Grubb said. It was kind of like EA Play, where players get full game trials, but he wasn't sure if that applies to every single game that comes out. He said, it seems to be implying that, though. He didn't know how long said trials were, though. For comparison, EA Play gives users 10-hour trials. And then the highest tier, this is Comic Book's interpretation of Jeff Grubb's thing. The highest tier will also have classic games and streaming. I don't like the streaming stuff, and streaming like PlayStation Now, which none of the other tiers have. However, he wasn't clear on what exactly classic means here, since there are plenty of PlayStation generations that could be included or omitted. The Bloomberg report from December noted that PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, and PSP titles were going to be offered. Now, if those titles are downloadable, this is a huge selling point for the $16 tier for me. The way PlayStation Now handled it is you were able to stream anything from the PlayStation 3 and from... Well, they boasted like a 700 game catalog, right? However, I'd say at least half of that catalog was just streamed off of PlayStation 3s, I assume. And I don't like their streaming service. There's too much latency in it for me to play something like, I don't know, the Killzone games, right? So for me, it had improved by the time they started phasing out PlayStation Now, which they've seemingly done at this point. But it never got to that point where I loved it. So if I could download those games on the highest tier, I get 10-hour trials, whatever, right? I also think that's not probably being explained in a way that Sony is going to market it. I think Grubb probably has some intel, but he seems a little hazy on it. So I'm a little unclear about what that tier is going to entail. And I have to imagine when Sony presents it to us, it's going to make a little bit more sense. So I'm a little bit more optimistic about whatever that ends up being. Bloomberg said documents obtained by Bloomberg last year, so the most expensive tier will also give players access to extended demos and the ability to stream games over the internet. A spokesperson for Sony didn't immediately respond to a request for comment. So we don't really know what that streaming games means still. And honestly, this is the same rumor it's been forever. The only update really in the Bloomberg article is that, yes, we're actually going to hear about this next week. So expect at least one more video about PlayStation Now so that we can actually compare and contrast to what the Xbox Game Pass service is. And hopefully Microsoft has some sort of announcement planned for next week. I don't know why next week is the week to do it. That's the only part that sort of baffles me. Like, what's going on next week? Nothing's happening next week. There's like no more releases until later in the year or the summer if Redfall holds the summer. So, yeah. All right, well, that is everything about PlayStation Spartacus, basically. And that's still a code name. We don't actually know what it's going to be called, so we'll find out quite soon. But let me know if you're going to get it in the comments below. Are you going to subscribe to it? I know I probably am. I really like those types of services, and if it's even comparable to Game Pass in any way, then I would probably get it. But let's wait and see what they actually say is included with each. Anyway, if you like my videos, thank you so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell if you want to watch more and know when my videos post. Thank you so much to the members. Members, I really do appreciate you. Thank you for supporting the channel with your memberships. I greatly appreciate it. If you would like to become a member yourself, you can click that join button right down there. I'm going to get out of here. I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now, everybody.